What's going on, guys? Foster, and I am back with another video. In today's video, I'll be doing an in-depth Nocturne jungle guide. Nocturne won the poll, as you can see right now. If you guys want to vote for the champions that are coming up for future guides, make sure to do that by hitting the notification, subscribing. You can follow the community tab and vote for champions you want to see. So make sure you do that. Also, if you want to catch me streaming live on Twitch, you can do that as well. There's a link in the description. I do stream quite a bit, so yeah. Now, Nocturne. Nocturne is a very scary gank jungler. He has his ultimate, which is very strong when it comes to killing people. So you can farm pretty much the 6 really quickly, since your clear speed's very good by having a lot of AoE damage. And if you farm that 6 and just use your ultimate a lot, then people, you can get a lot of free kills, especially on return ganks, because your ultimate cooldown is going to be a lot lower than people's flash cooldowns. So ganking on Nocturne and getting a lead on Nocturne early game is not that difficult. So with that being said, let's get right into the runes. For Nocturne, you have the main rune is Lethal Tempo. Lethal Tempo is simply the best because you jump in and then you gain the attack speed basically on contact. So you go in and then at that point you start hitting them like crazy with Lethal Tempo. There is not really any other runes that would be good enough for Nocturne because you need the attack speed here to start hitting targets. The attack speed is where most of your damage is going to come from your auto attack, so hitting them more is obviously better. And you might think, why not press or Conqueror or something? Now the reason for that is with the build you're going for, a lot more auto attacks actually matter more than proccing Conqueror or proccing press. And that's just simply, if you're going lethality, right? Every single auto attack you do is going to hold a very high value. If you are going for a more so tank destroyer HP based damage build, then every single auto attack you do is going to hold more value. So overall, Lethal Tempo holds the highest value you can get on Nocturne as a single rune. That attack speed is very crucial, and especially if you are on your Q, which gives you 40 extra attack damage on max rank, then more auto attack there is going to stack up, so Lethal Tempo holds overall a higher damage value than the other runes would. Now something else you might think could be good here is Hail of Blades for pretty much similar reasons. However, Hail of Blades is limited to 3 auto attacks, whilst Lethal Tempo will allow you to do a lot more auto attacks, which could make a huge difference in just fights in general. So Lethal Tempo is just better when it comes to that. So that's Lethal Tempo that you want to pick up. Now, for this one, you have 2 options. You have the Triumph rune or the Presence of Mind rune. Now, why Presence of Mind? Nocturne actually struggles a little bit with mana issues here or there. So Presence of Mind actually is very valuable. You could use it. It is personal preference, honestly. I personally tend to use Triumph a lot more, simply because going in and diving in like that, and as soon as you get the takedown, you get so much HP back. If you're actually dueling and you get low, getting that health back is very valuable, simply for, longer duels, longer fights, and coming out on top that way. So that's why I usually pick up Triumph, but Presence of Mind holds a very good value as well, simply because Nocturne does have some mana issues. So you can use that to pretty much fix it if you don't take all the blue buffs, of course, because if you take blue buffs, then this doesn't matter. Now, moving on from there, you have the option of going for the Legend Tenacity for CC reduction, which is in general very useful if you are facing heavy CC comps. You can use Bloodline for lifesteal as well. Now, I don't value the alacrity that highly on Nocturne, simply because you have the Lethal Tempo already, and you also have the passive attack speed that you get from your W, so in general you should be fine on that front. So it's better to just get either Lifesteal or Tenacity. Tenacity is better for CC again, and then Lifesteal in any other situation, because Lifesteal is still very solid. If you are going in 1v1ing people and you do have the additional Lifesteal from Bloodline, there's a higher chance you can come out on top instead of just dying and not being able to regen yourself, because your regen, your lifesteal in a lot of builds, is going to come in a little bit later. Now, as a rune right here, you do have the option between all 3. It kind of depends on what you're facing. If you're facing squishies and going for a high burst build, then Ku is better, because then that will just give you more burst damage. If you are dueling people a lot more, then Last Stand can be better, because then your damage will go up the longer the duel goes on. And if you are facing a bunch of tanks and all that type of stuff that just have way more max HP than you, then Cut Down is better. So it kind of just depends on the enemy team, and also kind of depends on your playstyle preferences, honestly. Now, as a secondary trait to this, you pretty much just need to get Ultimate Hunter. Ultimate Hunter on Nocturne is extremely valuable, simply because your ultimate is it's just an insanely good ultimate. It helps you gank, it helps you catch people really easily. So if you can just have that at a low cooldown, as low as possible, that's just going to be ideal, because this is going to give you the most gank opportunity, and also at the same time just give you the most kills, the most snowball potential you can get. Now the second rune you want to get in combination with Ultimate Hunter is pretty much just eyeball collection. Now you might wonder why all the eyeball collection. This actually gives you overall more damage than a sudden impact would, for example. Now, the only situation where sudden impact holds a higher value than eyeball collection really is if you are going lethality, and actually full lethality Nocturne, which is a viable build. In that case, getting that extra 7 lethality holds a higher value simply because you're completely going for the burst damage. If you are going for a more sustained damage build, then eyeball collection holds a higher value simply for the numbers it gives you in stats wise. So yeah. Now, other things that are okay, but because of Ultimate Hunter kind of don't mesh up very well. Nimbus Cloak's very good on Nocturne for stick potential, but you can just pick Blue Smite instead. So you kind of have to go Blue Smite to make sure that you can stick to your targets like the best way possible. And you have this as well for like boots with the CDR here. However, this then holds more ultimate CDR, because that's the only thing you really care about is your ult CDR, so this is just better in general. Now, for the runes right here, it's pretty much just double adaptive force, simply because you get so much attack speed already from your W that you don't need the extra attack speed here to help you clear. So you can just go a little bit of extra damage, which helps for your Q, and then also just your auto attacks in general. So that's just better. And then for this one, it's whatever fits into the enemy team the best. So it's either magic resist or armor. You don't need anything else to help you clear. You have plenty of clear potential and everything like that. But just having the extra resistances against enemy champions is better. So yeah, that's it for the runes, and I'm just going to go on to the item build now. Alright, so item builds for Nocturne. Starting items is pretty much just a Hunter's Machete and a refillable potion. This is the best start for Nocturne because you auto attack a lot, and this is going to give you the fastest clear speed. Going for then the initial Blue Smite upgrade is the best and smartest thing you can go for, because that's also going to give you the rest of the sustain you need and the best jungle clear you could possibly need, alongside having the Blue Smite to stick to people a lot easier. So you can Blue Smite, and then pretty much the moment your fear procs, they're never going to get away from you anymore. So that's that's the ideal situation. If you don't pick up Blue Smite, it gets kind of difficult to actually stick to targets long enough for your fear to proc, because they can kind of just run away or dash away or whatever, and with the Blue Smite move speed and the extra slow from it, you're going to be able to proc it a lot easier. So that just holds more value. Now, as the options to upgrade, you have the Blood Razor and the Warrior. The only situation where Blood Razor is good is if the enemy team is extremely tank based. So they have a tank top laner, tank jungler, tank support, something like that. That's the only situation Blood Razor is good. If the enemy team is so tanky that you just need to get through that with the attacks, like with that from the Blood Razor. In any other situation, Warrior is better if they have enough squishies and everything, because Nocturne scales extremely well off of attack damage. And just for your auto attacks and lethal tempo combination, this holds the higher value then. So unless the enemy team is extremely tanky, you pick up Warrior. Now, moving on from a build here, the main item you want to initially build for is the Black Cleaver. The reason you want to build the Black Cleaver first, no matter whether you went Warrior or you went Blood Razor, is for the CDR. 20% cooldown reduction on your initial item is massive on Nocturne. This helps you with ult CDR as well. So rushing into a CDR item is the best thing you can do to have more pressure in that stage of the game, because you have more ultimates up. This is going to synergize really well with your Ultimate Hunter, and then the Black Cleaver is just going to lower your ult cooldown a lot. Now, if you went Warrior, you already get 10% from your Warrior enchant already. Now, Blood Razor doesn't provide this, so going Blood Razor will hold less CDR, really. Now, the Warrior enchant alongside the Black Cleaver with a blue buff lends you 40% CDR on top of the ultimate CDR from the Ultimate Hunter, can give you extremely low cooldown ultimates. I don't know the exact number, but it's a massive amount of CDR, allowing you to pretty much just ult bot lane, clear like a couple camps, and ult bot lane again. So it's just like constant pressure, and if you can just keep rotating ults on them without them having flashes up or escapes up or whatever, it's going to land in a lot of free kills. So that's why you want to get Black Cleaver first. Now, if you go Blood Razor, then Black Cleaver is actually an insanely good item right after, simply because the Blood Razor effect, if it will show up, hello, right here. Basic attacks deal 4% of the target's maximum HP and bonus physical damage. Physical damage being a key thing here, because the Black Cleaver will give armor penetration, so the physical damage is more effective to go through. So if you're going this right here, into a Black Cleaver, that's going to give you a big damage spike already. Also having the CDR spike. Now if you go Warrior into this, the same thing kind of applies, but your auto attacks is just going to destroy people a lot more effectively. Now think going diving in squishies, you go in with your ultimate, land your Q and everything, you just have so much attack speed with lethal tempo, and then the moment they get feared, they kind of just die to you. So really the ideal situation here. Now another great thing about this is the Rage passive, which grants you movement speed on dealing damage. So as soon as you deal damage to them, you're going to have better stick potential to them as well. And as soon as you kill something, then you get 60 movement speed as well, which is going to stick even better. So really that's just, this item is everything you could have, like, could want in once. You want CDR, you want stick potential, and you want damage. And also a little bit of tankiness is pretty nice off of this item, so overall this holds the highest value. Now if you are going lethality build, then of course this isn't an option, because the lethality build pretty much just looks like you want to build lethality items. So you go Duskblade into like Edge of Night, Ghostblade, whatever really fits. Usually if a build like this arises, if a build like this is a thing, then I'll just go the Warrior into a Duskblade into an Edge of Night, because then this gives you burst into a Spell Shield. And going from here, you can go for something like Armor Penetration, which is going to be very valuable. You can also go for an Umbral Glaive to just have more burst that way. But a build like this with like boots is already a very high damage build. It will give you a lot of extra auto attacks because you have lethal tempo, so this will just one-shot squishies really, really easily. This is a very good build to snowball with if you are ahead. And if you notice that the enemy is split pushing a lot, you can also get a Sanguine Blade as well for those types of situations. But that is completely up to that. Usually a full build would look something like this. With boots, of course, you can drop one of these for boots. But yeah, that's a lethality build. It's very straightforward. Just build lethality items, Duskblade, Edge of Night, and into Armor Pen and GA, and you should be good. Now moving on from just being mentioned, the general build that I use and I prefer in a lot of situations, whether I'm doing well or not, is just a consistent CDR based, just dual, like monstrous dual champion, if that makes sense. So you're just going to be extremely good at 1v1ing people, catching people out, splitting that are just walking by themselves. You just ult them and you just delete them off the map. So the way to follow up from this is, I mean, actually for boots, by the way, Nocturne has, you can go CDR boots if you like go for Blood Razor. You can go CDR boots, but in most cases it's just better to go either ninjas or mercs. So that being mentioned, the damage build for this is Warrior into Black Cleaver into whatever boots you want to get, really ninjas or mercs, and then you go into a Blade of the Rune King. Now Blade of the Rune King currently has a huge value on Nocturne. Melee users deal 12% of the target's current HP as bonus physical damage. Again, the physical damage thing. If you combine this with Blood Razor, you're going to just destroy tanks really effectively. So let's say tanks are on the enemy team, a build could look like this. And then the moment you pick up your Blade of the Rune King, you're going to just destroy tanks based off the HP, like destruction alongside the Armor Pen, which will make this more prominent, and then also having lethal tempo. Now still, if you want Warrior for more squishy, damage-based enemies, then this is still very good. Blade of the Rune King still holds a very high value simply because it offers additional stick potential, but also that 12% per auto attack is huge. So that's really, really good there. Now moving on from that, you have the option to go for a Guardian Angel. You can also go for Strix. There's a lot of items that can be used in a situation like this. Other items that are good are the Death's Dance for a lot more sustain. You can go Merc Sim for the QSS effect if you do need it. However, in most cases, your Spell Shield will be more than enough to help you in those scenarios. So that's really that. You can also go for more Armor Pen. However, usually if you go Black Cleaver, then this item isn't that necessary. You might need the healing reduction in some aspects that you could pick up as a temporary thing to win some fights here or there. But the other item that is going to be key here is the Stone Plate. This is actually very useful. If you have, for example, a Shen on your team and you go in ult in with Stone Plate, then you can pretty much deliver the Shen into the enemy team, and that's just going to mean that you cannot die. You dive in, you get 80 armor, 80 magic resist at that point, and you can also pop this to, as soon as they start bursting you, you don't take any damage, and then you absorb a lot for your team in those situations. It happens a lot that Nocturne, the moment you jump in, if you jump into 4 or 5 people, the moment you just ult in, they're going to start focusing you. So actually, Stone Plate is insanely good if you just use it right at that moment. That they just start bursting you with everything, because then you can soak every single bit of damage, and then your team can easily clean up from that point onwards. So yeah, this is pretty much it for the Nocturne build. If you guys have questions on this, make sure to put those in the comments below. If you guys have enjoyed this video so far, please make sure to hit the thumbs up button as well. And let's just get right into the gameplay section now. Alright, welcome to the gameplay section of this guide. As you can see, I am playing Nocturne, of course, into a Kayn. Now, honestly, this isn't the most ideal matchup, since Kayn is pretty much top tier at the moment and does whatever Nocturne does, but a little bit better, apart from, of course, the ultimate. The ultimate's a very good gank tool from Nocturne, so definitely that gives him an edge when it comes to that front. But the early game, when it comes to clear speed, Kayn is faster. So really all I can do is just hope to get a good leash and then just clear my jungle as fast as I can. The early couple of levels with Nocturne are a little bit of an issue. Your clear speed will go up the more damage you get, but in the first initial clear you're going to be pretty fast. But it's just not as fast as a Kayn, since he's pretty much one of the fastest champions that you can clear the jungle on. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to play it very defensively, and I'm going to play more towards a clear style that he will not be able to invade. Now, one thing for Nocturne to know is, on the first buff, when you're getting a leash, it's better to pick up Shroud of Darkness, since it gives you a passive of 30% attack speed, and that will give you overall more damage on the initial camp than a Q would. The Q does a little bit of damage and gives you attack damage, but in general, the 30% attack speed will come out ahead, especially with the Hunter's Machete combination, because it's a 35 bonus damage per hit. So the more attack speed you have, the more that's going to hit, the more damage you will do. So that's why you want to start with Shroud of Darkness, and then pick up the Duskbringer right after. Now, the initial thing here is that you want to put the Q in a way that you can walk and kite over it towards the next camp. So you hit it, but then you don't hit it for a specific distance. Like right here, as you can see me hit it, I place it in such a way that I have a place that I can stand on right here whilst kiting the wolves back and still getting my bonuses that way, because you need to be on the trail. And if you place a trail and you just shoot it downwards that way, you're pretty much stuck in this specific spot to actually hit the camp. And that's really not ideal when it comes to your clear speed. So you need to be able to kite your camps backwards. So as you can see me right there, kiting my camp backwards and everything, and also using my Q to get that move speed to go faster toward the next camp, because 15% move speed works like really nicely with that. Now, just because what I mentioned earlier, Kayn's clear speed and the fact that I have to like respect his clear speed, I kind of just skip over my Raptors and just do red buff instantly to make sure that I can get my red buff at least. If Kayn then decides to invade me afterwards, he might take my Raptors or maybe my Krugs, depending on whatever situation it could be. But in this case, all I know is that Kayn has a very fast clear speed and I need to be careful. So I'm going to be, as you can see, clearing my red buff, picking up my my E on level 3 here, so I can fear the red buff, taking less damage. Now we can see the Kayn right here ganking mid on level 2, which is extremely weird in my opinion. I do want to remind you actually that this is a Diamond 1 tier game. So all the players in this are either Diamond 2 or Diamond 1, maybe Master, I don't know, but yeah. So this is a Diamond 1 tier game, just for those wondering. Now Kayn level 2 ganks mid, which is really strange since Kayn usually needs to full clear and does it really fast to full clear, because if he just full cleared normally, he probably would have been done in approximately like 15 seconds-ish. He could have done his entire clear. So he's pretty quick at it, and yeah. So I'm a little bit wary of this, and I'm also knowing that the Kayn just walked towards topside, and as you can see, the pressure related, all my lanes are getting pushed in. So I cannot fight the Kayn at any situation right now. If your lanes are getting pushed in and you don't have any prio, like right here, Shen is not going to be able to have any prio on Gangplank, and the Katarina has prio in mid lane, and then bot lane also has prio. What does this mean? This simply means that you have to acknowledge the fact that you are not going to be able to walk up for the Skull Crab, for example. We saw Kayn walk towards topside. We knew that he had red buff and he level 2 ganked mid lane, which is all fine. This does mean that him walking top lane is him taking prio for top scuttle, which means that I cannot contest top scuttle with all the prio he has. And I'm just going to go ahead and realize that right that second and just run bot lane as fast as I can to still get the bot scuttle. I'm going to skip my Krugs in this situation right here simply because of that reason. And right here I can look, because what I saw was that what I reasoned here is there are two ways that Kayn could have cleared. The one way was solo starting Raptors which means his Raptors would have respawned in about 4 minutes, which means I can take it by walking there in that situation. The other situation is his Raptors are still up because he was level 2 when he ganked. So he could have done red into Krugs and then gank, which is a little bit weird, but if he did that, then it's whatever. This is something you gotta take advantage of and something you gotta know. Whatever camp they cleared first, pretty much. So, disregarding the blue buff or the buff camp, it's gonna spawn at approximately 4 minutes. So as you see, 4 minutes in game right here, I started blue buff, cleared my Gromp right after. Gromp spawns at approximately 4 minutes, as you can see, which means that this would have either respawned or just is still there because he only cleared 2 camps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I can take this camp from him whilst I know he was still kind of topside. And as you can see, he comes in running right there. Now, main thing for Nocturne right now is just the fact that I'm going to have to clear more so in the early game because you need to get to level 6 to have very effective ganks. Now, this doesn't mean that you cannot gank if enemy lanes are pushing up, like the entire enemy team currently is pushing into my team. Then you still have a very good opportunity to gank, and you need to make use of it. Because if you can come in from behind and just land your E on somebody and stick with them, then that fear is also going to result in a kill in most situations. Now, what do I know? I know that Thresh doesn't have summoners on bot lane because of the first fight. My bot lane tells me that information, and then I can use that based on this play. Now, we see this pushed in, as you can see. I'm giving on my top side here, obviously giving it to Kayn in this case for this gank, but in my opinion, this would be worth it right now. Because this will land in a kill for sure, and probably a double kill if I could get it. Yeah. So the gank you want to do without your ultimate is pretty simple. You just walk up, try to hit a Q. If you can hit the Q, that's very good. The closer you are, the better, because then it's going to be easier to hit your Q. But if you know you're for sure that you can hit your Q, you're fine. Because at that point, you have a lot of movement speed to chase on your trail. So right here, I just put my fear on the Thresh. He doesn't have flash, so he cannot get out. And right there, she flashes, I flash Q afterwards, and I get a kill or a double kill on bot lane without ulting. So make sure that you look out for these situations, simply because you cannot disregard ganking completely pre-level 6. Of course, your ganks after level 6 are going to be amazing, but pre-level 6 you still have ganks that you need to do to make sure, like, in some situations you just have to gank. The lane is really good position and it's just a free kill. So you simply just go for it. Now with all that, you can see my top side being up, but I've used quite a significant amount of time clearing, like I cleared my bot side and then I ganked the bot lane, which all cost quite a fair amount of time. Now the bot scuttle is going to be spawning soon, which is good information because now for my pathing, I simply go to bot scuttle, take that, and at about that time, these camps should respawn. It's a little bit of approximation right now because I'm not 100% sure. Just like watching the replay. If I was in game actually playing the game, I would know exactly when it was going to respawn. But right now, I can only assume that if I walk back or if I path the bot lane, I'm going to go for the scuttle here, get the fear on the scuttle, which actually in this situation right here, this is where the BRIO kind of comes in. So what I now don't know, actually, to mention, the Gangplank hit level 6. My Shen is not level 6 yet, so I don't have backup from him. But if you look at the lane BRIO right now, what I was assuming Kayn to do, honestly, after this bot lane gank, is he literally just takes my top side or whatever, just takes his top side, anything like that. I was not expecting him to rush for my scuttle. I was kind of just trading my top camps for a situation where I could just take scuttle. Now Kayn shows up right here, I instantly assist ping. Now the only problem with that is, if my lanes don't instantly respond, which they don't in this situation, they don't really have the prio to. The enemy lanes actually have more prio than mine. So what I should have done in this situation is instantly drop the Scuttle Crab. Now I would have been fine if it wasn't for Gangplank Ultimate, because that Gangplank Ultimate actually ruined my life pretty significantly. And yeah, so this is a little bit awkward. I take the Scuttle, I do die, or actually, I take the Scuttle, I do die for taking the Scuttle because of Gangplank Ultimate. And my team kind of reacted late. Like either they shouldn't have reacted at all, or they should have reacted a little bit faster, then that play could have actually happened. But now Shen barely hit 6 to actually come in here. So it's a little bit of an awkward fight. I should have probably backed off the moment I saw Kayn, simply because of lane prio. So that's a little thing right there. Now, this is the point in time I hit level 6, right? So I still did proper pathing. I have 45 CS into 38. Honestly, not too sure what this Kayn was doing. I don't know if he plays Kayn. Based on his Predator rune, I'm not too sure if he plays Kayn. But either way, I'm out farming this Kayn, which is good. But the main thing here is I have my ultimate. Now, what do I know? all of the summoners on their bot lane are down. So what do with my ultimate? I instantly just use it and rush into bot lane, as you can see. You just use it. The best thing you can do with Nocturne ult is use it as soon as it's up. So really play around that cooldown, because every single Nocturne ult gank is free. It's just a free kill. Like, the only way they can get away from it is like using all their summoners, but your ultimate cooldown is lower than the summoner. So in general, you know, it's fine. So right here I go in. Now, one thing to note with Nocturne ultimate that everyone needs to know when you play Nocturne is right here. I'll show it. Oh, damn it. Alright, what? No, either way, you can still see it on the map. So I'm flying over this wall, right, to hit Thresh with my ultimate, because I was going to go for Thresh. I know that Tristana has a leap which has potential to escape. Thresh just doesn't. So what do? I fly over the wall, and in mid-air you can use your abilities. So, as you can see right here where my trail starts, this I preemptively, before I hit him, used my Q. Because the moment you hit him, or the moment you use your Q and fly over that, you gain 40 attack damage. Which means that if you fly over your trail, you're gonna get 40 extra attack damage, which means your ult's gonna do more damage. Also, dashing towards somebody like that and using it right before you land is pretty much a guaranteed hit on your trail as well. Now what you can do as well is use a Shroud to spell shield if they were, for example, to block or hook or whatever, to use something to CC you. You can also use that. Now right here in this case, just for that ultimate, the darkness, I get a kill on Thresh. So I help him push out, and then I just assumed in this scenario that he would be on my red buff. And just based off me ganking bot lane, there was no way I was going to be able to get to my red buff in time, or to my top side in time anyway. If I was playing this Kane and I realized what the Nocturne just did and killed my bot lane, I was just going to go for his topside camps, because the Nocturne will not be able to respond to that in time, which I wasn't. So I'm going to opt for Dragon, and this case I actually see the Kane on Dragon, which surprised me, simply because I was more than assuming him to be on topside, since we have a man advantage. I just killed their support, so it's going to be a 3v4 situation for them, which isn't ideal for a Dragon. Now, he could try to steal it, but either way, this was a pretty big mistake on his part, in my opinion. It should have just been lane BRIO related, and it should have just been the free Dragon. Now, in this case, I don't have my Smite, simply because I think I used it maybe on the gank on Thresh, but I was not expecting him. I started the Dragon not expecting Kane to be there, simply because him probably clearing my top side and maybe taking Rift Elf would have been a better play to trade for Dragon. So I didn't expect this, and we actually need to stop, because if I don't stop the Dragon whilst I don't have my Smite up, Kane is going to get a free Dragon, and that's just not going to be ideal. So based off that, based off what Kane just did, I'm going to just go ahead and clear some of my camps, and as you can see, my ultimate is instantly back up. The moment I have it back, I'm going to look for a gank again. Now, my top lane camps obviously are still up, but it doesn't matter. If you have your ultimate, try to gank with it. You need to use that as soon as you can. Try to use it on cooldown, because it's a kill or a double kill every single time. Now again, what do I know? Summoners, I do know my summoners. So right here, Thresh doesn't have flash. I just go in on the Thresh. And right there, I mean, I kind of get Trist ulted away. I was trying to time my W to block Tristana ultimate, which wasn't that easy. But in this specific situation, I do get ulted away. But the good thing is we have a Twisted Fate with ultimate that can easily still follow this up. So as you can see, Twisted Fate coming in, stunning Tristana, and we still pick up the shutdown kill on Tristana. Now I'm just going to reset here and go towards my top side. I was assuming it was down, but apparently was not, so I'm going to just clear it, clear down, and what do you see again? My ultimate is about to come up, and I'm clearing towards the bot lane. Now you might wonder why don't you just go and kill the top laner, for example, or go and kill the Katarina? Well, in this case, I know that the bot lane has used a lot of their summoners. They are constantly pushing in, playing very aggressive. The Shen Gangplank one isn't guaranteed, because Gangplank has his orange, so if Shen misses his taunt or something and Gangplank, like orange is my sphere, it's over. Katarina can blink away. Now, sure, I do have a Twisted Fate, but it's better to just abuse the fact that every single ult I can do can land me a potential double kill, which is more worth it in any situation. So that's what I'm just going to go for. My ult's going to come up, so I skip a couple camps here. And I'm just going to go ahead and gank bot lane again. These camps are still clearable for me afterwards, but I need to make sure that my ultimate is on cooldown before I do so, because that's just the way Nocturne is played. Without that, you're just going to lose too much gank pressure and too much time on the map for just farming. So it's just better to go and ult again. So right here, as you can see me wait, my ultimate range is not visible to me right now, but this should be at the approximate range. So I'm standing in a position where I can be in ult range for this. And yeah. So I currently, right there, I see the Thresh and Tristana go in. I didn't know Kayn was bot lane, but they went in because Kayn was bot lane. So they assumed that it would be a 3v2. But again, I was just there at the shadow bot lane. Instantly, the moment they jumped in, I ult in, which puts darkness on, making it very difficult for them to fight. And yeah, as you can see right here. So darkness, I just jump on the Tristana simply because she just jumped in. There is no way she can get out. If she has flash, I do flash after her, which is fine. But at the moment she jumps in, she is just a free kill. So I'm just going to go for that. And then right there, off of my ultimate, I pick up a double kill. Now this is the way it should be played. This is the way you want to play it. And now this is also a time where after double killing their bot lane with Dragon being up. And this is also why playing towards bot lane is better because of Dragon control. I can just simply go ahead and pick up the Dragon. Now I had level Kayn by 1 level, which means a smite steal for Kayn is very unrealistic. And I do outsmite him in this situation. Now Kayn's smites are still very scary. Because if Kayn lands his W, Q and smite pretty much at the same time, which is possible. Then, or mainly just his Q and his smite at the same time still does a significant amount of damage. And that could make outsmiting him pretty damn difficult. So the main thing I wanted you to take note of here again is my ultimate cooldown. And the way I'm going to play around my ultimate cooldown. So you can see I was on cooldown 40 seconds down to 20. And yeah. So right here, my ult is going to be back up. So my initial plan is to just go back bot lane. Now when my bot lane in this case, or their bot lane in this case, roams towards mid lane, kills the TF. Which isn't ideal, but in this case, they probably, if Jhin pushes up, going to play aggressive. And yeah, now here I see the ward. I'm just going to sweep the rest of the brushes to clear the ward. And then probably just look to reset. Because they know I'm bot lane and this gank is probably not going to work anymore. Now in case, instead of that, I see the Rift Herald being put mid lane, so I can probably look for a maybe gank. And I know Kayn's scamps can be up right here, as you can see. His scamps are respawning / are up. And all we have to do at this point, and this situation really is make use of the Twisted Fate ultimate, and then again my ultimate. As soon as Twisted Fate ults, I can jump on anything I like, because I have complete vision, which is a very nice combination. Playing Nocturne and Twisted Fate together is very, very good. Right there, Twisted Fate goes for Thresh, I go for Thresh as well with my darkness, and then they will not be able to react or TP because of my darkness. So there's nothing the enemy would be able to do, even if they had teleport up or whatever. So, with my ultimate being on cooldown, actually, I have Yuumi on me in this situation, so a gank is still very viable. We know that Yuumi ultimate is up in this case, so we can definitely just look here and look for a play on the Tristana. She jumps away, but there's pretty much nothing she can do. She kind of overextended there, which was a bit of a joke. Now here, I figured I'd clear the wave. I did not expect the Katarina to be bot lane in this situation, so I actually do die for this. And then also double die for this, because I had a Yuumi on me. I was fully expecting the Katarina to be more towards top side and not being bot lane, but yeah, what can you do really? Okay. So with Yuumi on me right now, it's very good Yuumi and Nocturne together. Especially the team comp we have in this specific situation is actually insanely good. We kind of like picked around each other at some point in the draft. And yeah, so I can definitely just have Yuumi on me, jump in with Yuumi ultimate, and then Twisted Fate could ult or give me a way to ult in by using his ult to give vision, and then Shen can ult on top of me as well, which is going to be a pretty nice engage that we could use. Now in this situation, Jhin gets jumped on, Shen uses his ult, Tristana goes over the wall and uses her jump. Now pretty much the moment she uses her jump, and I know she doesn't have flash, I can just ult on top of her and she will guaranteed die there. In this case, I actually do get Tristana ulted away, so I don't get the kill, but yeah. They still use that, and it's still okay right there. So main thing for me right now, my ult is on cooldown, so I'm just going to be farming my jungle camps, because I don't have any way to really gank anything or anything else. Taking the CS, taking farm is what I have to be doing right now to make sure that I don't get like outskilled really. Yeah. Right, with my ultimate again, I'm going to look for a play. In this specific situation, I was kind of predicting them to be somewhere in this brush. So what I wanted to do was, what I should have done at this rate, like I spell shielded first to predict like a hook maybe. I wanted to place a ward in it, but what I should have done, what is better, is just to throw your Q in first. This has quite a significant amount of range, and if I just walk here and Q first, I can then see if they're like moving around, because my Q will then, of course, yeah, put a better path. So right there, they were actually in the brush, I warded it, and I kind of suicided. Like, I kind of knew they were there, but also I just wanted to ward. Again, I should have queued, but yeah. So they fully engage on me there, which is a bit unfortunate. And I don't think Shen ultimate was up. I think it has had like a 1 second cooldown. Because if Shen ultimate was up, that would have been a very good response. But yeah, it's just my fault for face checking the brush there, which is a stupid mistake. I honestly kind of expected it, but on the other hand, kind of didn't expect it. And yeah, it's kind of just my bad, really. I should have queued the brush. If you're not sure, always just queue the brush. You can walk up with spell shield if you want to block something, but just queuing the brush is the best solution. So that's something you need to keep in mind. For me, just clearing my camps, making sure that I do keep scaling. I was expecting a thresh hook there, it wasn't the case. And now, as you can see, the dragon is going to be spawning quite soon. So that's what I'm going to look towards playing for. Now again, Nocturne ultimate is up, so I can definitely look for a pick, look for a play. If we can pick something off right before the dragon spawns with Nocturne ultimate, that'd be ideal. But it doesn't always happen that way, really. So we have really good vision right now, so we can definitely look for an engage. So TF ultimate lands, I land my Q here, and right now Yuumi starts ulting, which pretty much puts me in a position of having to position Yuumi ultimate right now, because she's on top of me. So she is ulting, and I'm just making sure that Yuumi ultimate is in the right position. Then I press ultimate the moment Tristana jumps to dash on top of her. I do get exhausted by Tristana, because that's a fun meta these days. Yeah, so exhaust ADCs. I do get exhausted so she doesn't die, but I'm not going to overchase. Simply because if I'm exhausted like that, I'm likely to just get killed by the Tristana damage, and I do not want that since she is still pretty strong. So my ideal play is there to just walk away, have her use her exhaust and her flash and whatever, and then just go and do the dragon. Now again, making sure that I clear some of my camps here. And then go back to buy parts of my items, or my items in general. Now my ultimate's back up, so that instantly just means I can look for another pick, and that's definitely the way you want to do it. My jungle camps aren't up, and I cannot walk into their jungle, so there's nothing I can do there. There is no dragon up, and Baron is not a real objective to contest currently in the game. So you can see me just looking for an opportunity to see someone solo, and right there the Katarina jumps in on the Jhin, which is instantly my cue to just ult. Put pretty much a darkness on the entire enemy team, and then with a Shen ult and everything, we back up the Jhin, and Katarina just dies off that. Which allows us to chase, because Katarina has a lot of their teamfights presence, and we can just pretty much play through this. And as you can see, just based off that, based off waiting for a pick, waiting for situations with her ultimate, that's the way you want to play it. Right here, they're going to start Baron. Now the problem here is I don't have my blue smite up again, so I don't know what these Baron calls are like that my team is doing right now, but without my ultimate this is pretty scary. Or sorry, without my smite, this is pretty scary. I do have my ultimate, however. So yeah, in this case, I was like, what is the plan here? My team kind of just all instantly ran that way. And I kind of got stuck in a situation like this, so I'm just going to try to instantly ult, and hopefully this Kayn, like ulting Kayn right there, actually puts me over the wall. It didn't, so I'm kind of just stuck in a pit right now, which is a little bit awkward. I should have probably walked after my team a little bit faster there, but I just didn't expect them to all just drop and chase a gangplank like that, which was a little bit weird. So I kind of died for that one as well. Not ideal, but yeah, what can you do? So my team just kind of plays out the fight. However it goes doesn't necessarily matter. We just go for the next Ocean Soul, and that's really our main objective right now. So right now, everyone needs to be at Ocean Soul. Now the only one that cannot, or like has the option to not be there instantly is Shen, but the rest of the team just needs to be here. Now the problem here is TF was clearing top wave, which isn't ideal, especially since this dragon is going to be spawning extremely soon, as you can see from the marker. So TF is never going to get to the dragon in time, which is not smart, because that just means that we lose a lot of pressure. Now this does mean, sadly in this case, Yuumi actually just went off of me, because if she didn't, this guy would have just been a free kill, like no matter what. So we can just chase her, Shen ults me, we go in, we take a catch, because the catch is what I want. If I can kill this Katarina, our chances of actually winning the next team fight are going to be a lot higher. So I just ult in. Now if Yuumi was on top of me, this would have been a lot cleaner, but it is unfortunate, the timing on that one. So we kill the Katarina. Now the problem here is, and this is why I just mentioned this earlier, simply because TF pushed top lane and wasn't able to get grouped with us, so actually be in the position right here. Like, he kind of just greeted for a top wave, which now results in his death, since he's massively out of position by himself. He was not able to rotate fast enough, which now is going to cost us pressure on this dragon. Now we do get a pick, but they get a pick back, which isn't an ideal trade for us, because that just means that we gain nothing out of a pick, and we use both Nocturne and Shen ult for it. And what have they used? Probably not too much. Now the problem here, of course, again, is the fact that Kayn Smite, a blue Kayn Smite especially, is very hard to outdamage or outsmite for me as a Nocturne. Because blue Kayn Smite is pretty much a combination of hitting your WQ and Smite at the exact same time. And if you're building lethality like that, that's going to do a significant amount of damage, which you can see in a second right here. So the way this fight's going, and the way this fight shouldn't have gone, is because the TF isn't here right now and the Katarina's dead. So if the TF was like here zoning, maybe stun guarding whatever, or stun guarding the Kayn or whatever, anything like that, he has ultimate, he could have done something. But without this, we kind of get into a 50-50 smite battle, which Kayn wins, as you can see, because I can't do anything. If you look at this, like the smite combination right there is pretty much impossible to outsmite. The speed is what you saw that go down was already slowed down for me. Or like in the replay section, and I just cannot react to that in time. You can see he goes on, fights me here. Now in a 1v1 situation, my build's extremely strong. The only problem was that I was a little bit low on HP at that point already. But as you can see, if I landed my fear, if he didn't flash my fear, he would have died. Just because of my like 1v1 potential in this build. Now this actually turned out really badly for us, and I just want to like show you why it happened like that. It's the TF misplaying on the position there. Even if he just was here and just used his ultimate right there to go into the dragon pit, that would have been fine. But that's why this like fight turned sour. Now sure, you can argue I missed my smite, but honestly, outsmiting a 50-50, and not even a 50-50, it's like a 75% advantage to Kayn. There's not much you can do about it. Now we see the Katarina bot lane and the Tristana mid lane. My team just completely decides to drop the Baron again, which I don't fully agree with, because we could have just finished off the Baron and then made for a play, but sure, whatever, they go for that. I just go for Tristana, she's alone, and my build again, very strong 1v1 potential, does outdamage the Tristana there, and she does die, which is good. Now here, this is just the peel potential of Yuumi Shen and just everything like that. Kayn goes in, dies, and yeah. So this break we can pick up the Baron, and from here on out we just play for the next dragon. Picking up an Ocean Soul is pretty much an instant GG, since the dragon is just, or that soul is just way too strong. So right here, actually, I'm just farming my camps, kind of waiting for like a dragon play. They just plant over from out of nowhere. Honestly, I didn't expect that at all. I just flash spell shield away to be able to block whatever I can. Off of this, TF ults, we see the team being massively out of position. And this is where our ults kind of come in. I use my darkness, I go for the Kayn, because, I mean, killing their jungler is always good. I go for the target that I had the best opportunity to kill. And right here, yeah. Tristana kind of just overextends again for some reason. Now, do mind, this is Diamond 1 elo, so some of the stuff I see, I'm baffled, but other stuff I'm like, I don't know, man. So right here, picking up the Ocean Soul after a fight like that, pretty much playing like the catch. Like, you have to play the catch potential as Nocturne. So, TF ult gets vision, you can Nocturne ult on any target you pretty much want to. Because it has a pretty good range, especially if you Yuumi on you, then you can definitely just go in, no problem. And assassinate whoever you want. Right here, just farming. I currently have 5 items, which is a very like good damage situation for me to be in. And yeah, I was expecting them to walk top lane and me here to hold for the Shen. Now in this specific scenario, I was like, alright, I guess they're not coming. And apparently they were standing right there. Didn't expect it on my part, to be honest. Could I have done anything about that? Probably walk a little bit safer, but realistically I was never expecting them to be in that position. So I kind of just get caught out and die, which is pretty bad because now a teamfight situation would be a 4v5. And of course that's never ideal, but yeah. So they're gonna probably look towards pushing mid. Now the problem here is they kind of took a little while and I'm almost back up. I do have my ultimate, so any fight that breaks out, I'm able to clean. So anything that happens right now in mid lane, sorry. So this fight's gonna go down in mid lane right now. As you can see me respawning in like 4 seconds. This fight's gonna go on. It's whatever. Honestly, it's kind of my bad for like getting caught out there. But right here, I place darkness. Now, the moment you place darkness, you have to see it in a couple ways. Like, I'm still very far out. Or very far out. I'm still a while out. I'm using my darkness a little bit before I get in range. Now, I do have home guards, which makes it that I actually run out of base really fast so I can catch up with somebody before my ultimate time's out. But using it a little bit early pretty much disorients the entire enemy team instantly. This is solo queue, this is not team play. So there's no way they can look on each other's screens if they're sitting next to each other, or like have the communication to know what Nocturne is jumping on what they're seeing. So Nocturne is actually, like, in situations like that, you just use your darkness to instantly put them in a terrible position in a fight. So I do that, I still run out, and I still then, as you can see right here, the moment I can look for a catch and see someone solo, I just jump on the Tristana right here, assassinate her really quickly, she puts her exhaust down, but entirely based off the darkness, the enemy team had to back off and was not able to continue fighting, which is a very strong teamfight tool that you need to make use of. If a teamfight breaks out, just use your darkness. You don't instantly have to jump in. Using your ultimate already and just putting the map to black for the enemy team is going to make it very difficult for them to properly teamfight. So that creates a lot of pressure, and that holds a lot of pressure that you need to use in those teamfights as well. So right here, it's pretty much just, we killed the Tristana, Gangplank's dead, and we can just push the end at this point. It's a very, like, I mean, I guess counter push. They kind of get caught out, and yeah, this way we just end the game. The main thing to take away from this, with Nocturne specifically, is farm whatever you can, because you have a pretty good clear speed. You don't need anything else. Your passive is more than enough to make up for clear speed, so TMS and all that are, like, useless really. Just use your Q, use your auto attacks to clear the camps, and whenever you have your ultimate up, gank with it. It doesn't have to be bot lane, but bot lane would be the most ideal situation, simply because it's a double kill every time. It doesn't have to be a double kill every time, but there's a potential for a double kill every time. If you ult top lane, which can be a good choice, it can help. You can definitely get a free kill out of it. Every single ultimate you use is a free kill, so just make sure to use it on cooldown, and do skip some camps here and there to make sure you use it on cooldown. Another thing is, make sure that you don't just keep the mindset of only having to gank with your ultimate, because that's going to cost you in games, tending to lean more towards you AFK farming too much and then getting in trouble that way. So with all that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to hit the thumbs up button. This helped me out quite a lot in getting this video out there for the YouTube algorithm, really. If you want to catch me streaming live, you can. There's a link in the description. Make sure to hit the follow button there. I do stream quite a bit these days, so you can definitely catch me live. And yeah, with that being said, hope you enjoyed the video, and see you guys in the next one. Bye!